Hey, this is Pops. Welcome. Saturday morning cartoons, Batman animated series. That's right. We're reacting to every episode. We're kind of going back, doing a rewatch, and enjoying just the cream of the crop, the top of the tier, right? As far as animated shows. This week is Heart of Steel, a two-parter. And it really is interesting how I think my perspective would be different um, then versus now. Like then, I'm not sure how well this episode works because it's so AI and robots and androids, cyborg, almost like a brainiac sort of theme, Ultron kind of feel. Whereas now you feel like it's so much more relevant because we're already there. So in 30 years, this sort of like fictional animated little cartoon, which seems almost too sci-fi for the Batman universe, feels so incredibly spot on and so good. So I don't really have a whole lot, I think, to say other than just like let's just walk through some of the elements and kind of give you my thoughts because it is a two-parter, so there is a fair amount to go through. Let me go right to the general story is just that there's we're Wayne Enterprises. There's this mechanical suitcase that's left. It's first of all, it's just a regular suitcase that's left behind by what we presume is a very beautiful lady, a beautiful blonde. Security guards don't know what to do. It pops open, so they kind of rummage through some of the items to see if there's any names or anything like that. Coming to find out, the robot kind of gradually comes alive, has these mechanical tentacles that allow it to open doors, and it uses like a grappling gun type thing that's built into it, and it's going to steal these microchips. Okay, it uses gas and knock them out as Batman arrives, and Batman's kind of on the hunt before it sort of like figures out ways to escape. Right, it kind of transforms into like a rocket, and Batman takes chase using a bat glider, which he had stashed on the top of Wayne Enterprises. And then it takes those microchips right to Pretty Blonde Lady. And then in her car, she just uses robotics. So we got a intruder. Here we go.
Intruder. Rectify.
So it just starts firing missiles at old Batman and take him out. And he goes down into the ocean. He loses it. And then they're in the Bat Cave trying to solve things. We get, I got to be honest, kind of a little bit of a flat joke from Alfred. Not every joke works. And then Lucious Fox calls and kind of gives them the update on what actually was stolen. And then you have this little side / backstory with Barbara Gordon, who we really haven't had any real time with or anything like that in the show at this point. And you end up with this sort of like little there's going for a deeper relationship that she understands dad. He has like this little nuanced thing he does about this teddy bear type thing that she had when she was young. And he's like the dad that's kind of struggling, that his little girl's growing up to college and that kind of thing. So anyway, so he goes to meet the scientist, and the scientist is like, no, I don't have any information. And then offers to kind of like have dinner with her, who turns out to be the hot blonde, by the way. And then you got our first look at this big AI machine. It has a secret plan basically, because creating these little cyborg replicants basically, and she's part of this scheme to go out and replace people. And here you can see them going in, and they're going to replace Jim Gordon. And of course, everything goes out into the press. So there's the pretty lady, the blonde that's got Bruce's eye turned. And the Gordon stuff I thought was interesting because the AI didn't create a believable android. Like it's just like, I'm fine. Like it was, I don't know. Even like generic sci-fi does better than that. But again, this is like one of these things where I'm not sure what's supposed to work in a Batman episode. Anyway, they're going after Bruce, and that's kind of where we end up leaving it. And the thing starts to figure out that um, they're looking. So Bruce had done like a switcheroo on the chips and the files and the data and that kind of thing. So it didn't quite get what it was after. So it kind of had to go and use her because she was actually there with Bruce and look and see if he has them there. And when she starts searching, she starts figuring out that, oh yeah, there's this Batcave thing. He's Batman. So that's kind of how we transition into part 2. Now, I know I'm jumping really, really quickly through stuff because this is really an episode that part 1 is just throwing a whole bunch of stuff against the wall. It's just a massive sort of like plot dump of information before we kind of get to the meat and the villainry or the twist, or I don't even know that I want to call it villainry. It's like the AI just does what all AI does. It will see the humans as the flaw, come up with a plan that it thinks is the best successful way to either make the world more positive or eliminate the threats or all these different things that we see, whether it be Skynet, iRobot, pick an AI type thing. Um, so that's kind of how this will transition while Barbara is figuring out something's not right with Gordon, her dad. And then you have the intro, and we get to the story here. And now Bullock's on the case, right? They're going to go and try to get Bullock on the case. And you can see Barbara piecing things together. And this thing, the audience now is starting to understand a lot more of the plot and the devious twist that the AI generated supercomputer has contrived and what it's actually capable of, whereas everyone else doesn't. And then when we see she uses the bat signal to get Batman there, right? See, so we get our bat signal, and we get Batman there, and then at that moment, Bullock shows up, and Bullock is not Bullock. Bullock has been switched. I did not like that yell. I did not like the yell. I was like, okay, no. So this two-parter never derails, but unlike most episodes, when it comes to nitpicking, Ops could have some check marks on the nitpicking. There's some nitpicking moments with these two episodes that I don't normally have in the show. So just for those of you keeping score at home, yeah, the nitpicking is there. And Barbara basically saves Bats, and then you kind of go back to our story, and you kind of go to this thing where, they bring Bruce into the mix, and he's going to be part of this club, and that's where we really get red-eyed robots. We get iRobot things that are super strong, super powerful before he becomes Batman, and then we have the full-on sort of last piece of things. And again, I did not like this sequence. It happened earlier as well, where they just things just fall into place. Like it just does that. And this show doesn't normally have those type of contrivances. This show is usually pretty clear of doing those types of things. But this episode kind of fell into that trap a lot. And I was kind of disappointed with that in some ways. But overall, I liked it. And it starts going along pretty well. And you start to see the robots everywhere and different things were bad. Now, this is, again, just beautiful shot. Beautiful shot right there. You get just great stuff right there. The cinematic elements that they go for works perfectly. And we end up with our final confrontation of everything coming together, what the scheme's going to be, and things like that. Which get a little creepy. Well, and they do find out like the humans are not dead; they're just kind of like stored, basically. And even the genius scientist has to go into the mix of like, this isn't what I had in mind. And you can see some of the way they did the animation on the robot. I didn't like her design. I thought this was just not. I really got to be honest. I just wish they hadn't ripped the face off like that. I wish they had just done something where you would just see just an eye or just a piece. It's just that they were going for like a half thing, like a Terminator sort of effect, but it just doesn't work quite right. And again, this episode is full of like that type of nitpicking stuff. Not major plot holes or anything like that. So anyway, it unravels, and have a nice sort of like Bruce and Barbara kind of moment where they're interacting. And then they hug. Isn't it sweet? It's the only thing that makes this kind of odd and weird is because we really haven't had any Barbara. We haven't seen much of Jim's personal life, things like that. So as a kid, I would be like, what's happening? Like, I want to see Batman. I want to see Batman fight things. I want to see, and it was like this one with his attempt to get into that kind of things. I don't know that it worked really well then or now, in my opinion. Again, I am nitpicking. I am not throwing this out. The baby doesn't go out with the bathwater, if you know what I'm saying. So, but it does at least deals with something that is way ahead of its time. Like it's pretty cool to think 30 years ago, the writers of the animated series had some foresight to say, well, let's do a animated OAI type mastermind robot type storyline. I think that was great. It's brilliant and that kind of thing. So anyway, what do you think? Maybe we should do some AI movie conversations and a stream or something about that. And do you agree with a lot of my nitpicking? Am I getting, into the weeks? So I get a lot of that back and forth with some of you guys over some of the points that I make or don't make, or how I think about things. So, I'm not trying to downgrade this show or try to throw this into the heap of other animated failures or anything like that. This is still a great episode and a great show. So anyway, that's my take on it. I am Pops.
Who defends this city?
Batman and Robin.
The Bat is the baddest, coolest, frees criminals in their tracks. Batman. The legend, the Dark Knight. The Bat unleashes an ambush attack.
Evil's gone to dust. What about the bird?
Robin, the Boy Wonder, the Blast Wing.
Bringing Freeze to his knees. Now show him the blade.
The Bat is cool. The Jet Blade. Spinning, spinning, spinning. Now that's hot. Who defends this city? It could be you.
I am
Batman. Batman Robin vehicles and figures each sold separately. Be the man, Batman.
When your kids are away from you, too often they forget your good advice and fill up between meals.
That's why we're here.
Flintstone's chewable vitamins with 6 flavors, 7 shapes.
And 10 essential vitamins.
It's the Flintstone way to help make sure kids get vitamins they could be missing.
So do what you can to help them eat well.
Hey, that's my favorite.
And help make sure of vitamins with Flintstones.
That's why we're here.
Regular or with iron.
For America's favorite hero this Christmas in the animated movie Batman: Mask of the Phantasm.
Hey you looking for some fun? Then just look for the Nabisco thing. Because when you see the Nabisco thing on the outside, you know there's cool stuff on the inside. Things you'll love, like Chips Ahoy, delicious Chips Ahoy. Plus tons more stuff, like the Nabisco Thing Cool Bus Contest, delivering a busload of scrumptious Nabisco snacks and Slammin' Tiger toys right to your house. 17 grand prize winners in all. To enter, you can write here or see marked packs of Chips Ahoy.
There's something strange in the neighborhood.
So who you gonna call?
Ghostbusters!
Each sold separately.
Have no fear. Venkman, Stamps, and Spengler are here. So are these ghosts. They've got ectoplasm. We've been goofed. Now what? Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Let's show this pile of dessert who's boss. Activate Neutrona Blaster. We ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Peter Venkman, Ectoplasm, Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and other figures each sold separately. Ghostbusters, new from Kenner.